This is our new machine. It's called an InstaFlow. And what this does, this actually creates solution by just pressing a button. So if you want to make glass cleaner, you press a button and it produces as much glass cleaner as you want. If you want to make sanitizing solution, you press a button, it produces as much sanitizing solution as you want. If you want to make heavy duty cleaners and degreasers, you press a button, it makes as much solutions as you want. So for large school districts, large universities and stuff like that, this is perfect for them. They love it because their custodians don't have to interact with mixing things. All they have to do is touch a button based on what they want. We talked about color coding earlier. The glass cleaner is blue. The heavy duty cleaning degreaser is a greenish, yellowish color. The sanitizing solution is clear. So they know, based on the color, what they're getting. So it's a huge impact in the market for us. And this is our most recent product that we're going to be launching at ISSA. And everybody is really excited about this. This product allows you to create sustainable cleaning in any existing product that you have. So for example, if you have a carpet extractor and you don't want to use chemicals to extract your carpet, you can actually just fill up your carpet with water, drop this inside, it electrolyzes the water, and you can extract your carpet. If you have a scrubber, and you don't have one of the most recent tenant scrubbers, ECO technology, you can actually add some more catalyst, drop the wand inside, it electrolyzes the water, you have chemical-free cleaning for your entire environment. So these are the type of technologies that we are trying to bring to the marketplace to help our customers. Another big benefit for this is you have a lot of floors here. And you don't probably want to be lugging chemicals from one floor or solutions from one floor to the next. So if you have different stations, you could actually just lift this up. It's for 3 pounds, put it on your cart, and just walk to whichever area your custodial closet is, and make solutions right inside. So you're not, you're not constrained by having to have a specialized or a specific area to make your solutions. It gives you portability.
So what you're saying is you have a bucket of water.
Yep.
You just stick the wand in.
Just stick the wand in.
And then you'll get that solution that.
Exactly. So you have more buckets, all of those things. You make your solutions right inside.
Do you tie in with the ATP on doing any kind of testing to determine whether it is? You did have the germ test?
Yes. So who here, is everybody here familiar with ATP, what it does? So ATP actually is, let me just describe it to you. So ATP is a meter that actually measures something. So how it works is you have a swab that's in a sealed container. You pop it open. There's a little kind of like a cotton tip, and you rub it on the surface, and you stick it back into the container, and there's a reagent, right? And you shake it up, and it activates the whatever that tip picked up from the surface. And you stick it in a meter, and it gives you a reading, right? So they have different levels of reading. So those readings are based on cleanliness. So for example, you can get any reading, you can get readings anywhere from, the highest I've seen is like 20,000, right? Which is really, 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 really dirty. You want to run if you see that? To 0, which is absolutely clean. For healthcare, appropriate reading is about 20 if you're in a healthcare environment. So it varies. There are different levels. So our solution to your answer is yes. A lot of our customers use our cleaning solution to actually clean the surface, and then they measure it, and they get very, very good readings. I think there is a bit of a misconception with what an ATP does, though. ATP doesn't really measure bacteria kill. What it does, it measures the relative cleanliness of the surface. But there's an association that if you remove the dirt and bacteria from the surface, then you're also killing some of them. So you can say that there's a slight correlation here. Any questions? Silver?
How long do you have to leave that wand in a bucket or container for it to make the solution?
Depends on the size. So yeah, we have different settings. So if it's a small bucket and you want to make glass cleaner, it's probably about 3 minutes. If you want to make in say a scrubber, 24-gallon scrubber, it's probably going to be about 5 to 7 minutes.
Do you think that one in a bucket of water is
Yes. So
and how long do you have to do it?
it varies. It depends on the size of the bucket. Typically about 3 to 5 minutes if you want to make a cleaning solution.
So like a 2-3 gallon bucket?
Yeah, 2-3 gallon bucket. If you are using a small bucket, you just drop it in about 2.5 minutes to make the solution. So, and it's also on a string, so you actually can detach it from the body and drop it into a larger receptacle. So you can do it in large tanks. Yes, it makes a degreasing solution.
So you would mop it down on the kitchen floor and you would wash it off after?
Yep. I just right. What a lot of our customers are doing, and you guys have seen this, is there's a lot of mounting systems now that has reservoirs on top, right? And they use microfiber. They squirt the solution in the ground, and then they actually brew our solution in the tabletop model and pour it into those reservoirs, and you clean like you would an application. And again, the cost per gallon is about 7 cents. So I don't know how much you pay for your solutions that you're using, but it's much more than 7 cents a gallon.
What's the, after you drop it and you make that solution, what is the time span of that solution being,
Good question. So like I said, there's 3 distinct solutions that we make. The sanitizing solution, the life is about 3 weeks. Yeah. So when you make it, you have to, and obviously you have to have it in an enclosed container. Also, you have to have it outside of sunlight, because chlorine bleach, for example, when you buy a bottle of chlorine bleach, from one bottle to the next, the strength of that chlorine bleach is going to vary. Depends on how long it's been on the shelf. It depends on if it's been stored in sunlight, if it's stored in a hot room. Those kind of products have a tendency to be gassy. So for our solution in a lab environment, we actually kept it for over 6 weeks. But in the real world environment, we said that, you know what, after about 3 weeks, put one couple. Our glass and general purpose cleaner and our degreasers, you make it, they stay like that for months and months and months. So you don't have to worry about throwing out stuff out to make it. We have MSDS sheets for it, and I'll be more than happy to share those with you guys. So.
Another question, Sid?
Yeah.
If you use the wand and stick it in the bucket, if you leave it longer than you're supposed to, does that have any effect on it?
If you're making a sanitizing solution, you're probably going to get a stronger solution, but you also need a certain amount of minerals in the water for it to activate those minerals. What happens, so hypochlorous, it's made with salt. We use a very pure form of table salt. It's a food grade salt. So what happened, it's called fracking, where the mineral, the electricity, and the water, with time, it actually breaks up the salt, transferred into NaCl, which is the chemical symbol for salt, into something called HOCl, which is hypochlorous. So the time is one of those variables that if you have it in there for a long time, you're just going to create a stronger solution. So the hospital grade product that I was talking about, we can get it to about 1,000 parts per million of FAC, free available chlorine, it's called. Free available chlorine is actually different from chlorine bleach. Similar but different. So yeah, the longer you have it there, it can get stronger. But because we have specific measurements that we give you, you don't even get to a certain point where it just would be, it wouldn't get stronger than that after a while.
Is there a requirement for the cleaner to use, when you're using that product, for your product, to use PPEs?
I'm not familiar with these.
Oh,
personal protective equipment. No, we don't, but for safety's sake, we recommend that any custodians always protect themselves. So if you can interact with anything. The EPA, are you guys familiar with something called DFE, Design for the Environment? It's, I mentioned earlier that green cleaner really doesn't mean anything anymore because a lot of companies, they can support organizations like Green Seal and things like that, and then they get a green seal to put on their products. So the EPA realized a couple of years ago that this was becoming an issue because customers or users can't identify a reliable source to determine if something's actually safe for them. And when I was with Active Ion, we were trying to get a DFE certification because we were using just tap water in a machine to create a solution. The EPA didn't give that to us because they say that anything that kills is inherently not safe. So even if you kill bacteria, you wouldn't be able to get it. So to your question, I would recommend that. Not when they're cleaning, but when they're like, ruin the solution and stuff like that.
Probably states that on your
Yeah, it has a little symbol.
I'm just wondering if you could spray on the hands or something.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Actually, we are actually in conversations now with Gojo because you know who they are, right? Gojo. They make Purell, the hand sanitizer. And you guys been reading the news recently where they were being critiqued because a lot of people are saying they're not very effective. So we were actually in conversations with them now to see if they could actually use our solution in their product. So, and I know we have some people in Mexico who are doing the same thing. They're actually putting our solution in a gel and we use it in schools to sanitize hands and stuff like that. Any one of you responsible for cleaning like whiteboards and things like that? Yeah. Well, it cleans whiteboard like you would have a day. So, toxic side effects.
Can you save money in a file that's expensive?
Excellent. So, more questions?
So this is actually where you produce your solution and then you fill it up in regular wagons.
Yep.
And
So this
you need
allows
one station and then the people fill up the house people and you go.
Exactly.
What was the difference to before it needs to be each one touch?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
It makes much more doable.
Yes.
So you would have to label,
Yeah, what we have, and I'll show you, we have secondary labels. Let me just grab one. Oh, I didn't bring them. Anyway, we have secondary labels that you can fix to your own spray bottles. They're color coded, so you know which one is which. So we're sanitizing, slightly different from the color codes that you use. They're red for the sanitizing solution. For our glass cleaner, it's blue, so it matches the color of the solution. And then for our heavy duty cleaner and degreaser, it's green. So, and it has the MSDS information on the labels and things like that also.
I have a recommendation for your company. A lot of the general public associate the smell as being clean, right? They walk into the bathroom and they smell whatever it is, right? Your product doesn't offer that, where you go in, it doesn't leave any type of scent when you're done cleaning. Maybe you ought to sell some air fresheners as well. Because I think if someone cleans a surface, just the general public, housekeepers are different. If they use it, in their home, let's say, and there's no smell that goes along with it, a pretty fragrance, it's like a mind over matter thing. They think it's not really clean.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I actually was having a conversation.
I'm speaking from the outside, looking in.
Yeah. I was actually, the people who make my product successful are the people who use it as custodians. They're the ones. They can say, you know what, I hate this product. And their boss is going to say, no, it doesn't work. Okay, we're going to move to something else. So it's important that the people who actually use our product have a good experience with it. That's why they color codes. And This was what, 3 or 4 years ago. I was in an ISSA show in Chicago, and actually it was Orlando. And the facilities director for Indianapolis Airport, he came by, and he loved the product that we have. But he said, you know what, my custodians are going to hate this. And to your point, it doesn't leave a smell. An example that he used was, if a custodian go and clean a bathroom in an airport, the cleanest bathroom you could possibly imagine, and a flight plan, in 3 minutes, that bathroom is a total wreck. If a supervisor walks by to inspect that bathroom, he's not going to know anything was done, so that guy could be written up. So the only evidence that he has that he actually does his job was a slight smell from the chemicals. There is an issue with that we're familiar with, we understand it, but we also think that it's probably more important not to have the smell, because the smell is a VOCs, volatile organic compounds. So you talk about carcinogenic, I can never say that word correctly. That's where those things come from. So think about it, we all work and live in enclosed environments now. This carpet right now is off-gassing. The paints on the wall is off-gassing. The stuff on the table is off-gassing. All of these things are creating chemicals in this room that's trapped. And when we add other chemicals to a lot of VOCs, all of these things now are mixed up in the environment, and we don't know what impact they're having on our bodies. What we do know is that about 3 years ago, the California Department of Health, they did a study, and what they found was that custodians and people who are around chemicals, cleaning chemicals, have an increased rate of asthma and other respiratory problems. Not only California Department of Health, there were several studies that were done in England, and they looked at different professionals and birth defects. And what they found was that custodians had a higher rate of birth defects compared to all other groups of workers. So there is something there, that we're just starting to get into.
And you said that you could extract carpet with this chemical?
Oh yes, yeah.
But it wouldn't stain it.
You would have to pre-treat a stain. And you guys are experts in carpet, so stain goes down. It comes up as it goes down. And if it's an acidic stain, it could actually damage the fiber. And when the fiber is damaged, you could never remove it. So, but for most part, yes, it will remove the stain.
Actually, you brought up the point about odor.
Yep.
Actually, unfortunately, is clean has no odor.
Clean has no smell, correct? Clean has no smell. One of the things that you're going to find out, if you use our sanitizing product in bathrooms, you're going to find that it actually kills the bacteria. It's not masking the smell of the bacteria. So after a couple of treatments, the bathroom is going to start smelling fresher and fresher and fresher, because it's actually killing. It has a lot to do with dwell time, because a lot of the products that we use require a certain amount of dwell time on that surface. But because people are so busy, when they put the solution down, they don't have time to let it dwell long enough for it to be effective. So what they do, they put it down and then remove it right away. So it's not really killing bacteria. So what's happening is the smells, the smells that they put into the chemicals is actually masking infected cleaning. With our product, because it kills so quickly, it actually kills that bacteria on the surface.
If you walk into a large restroom with a lot of different stalls, you just spray everything on time.
Yep.
Maybe an opportunity to do well.
The 10 seconds. Our solution in 10 seconds. Yeah. Just really
Would you recommend like a degreaser application followed by a sanitizer?
Yeah, so if you look at the CDC website, they will tell you that you can't sanitize a surface unless you clean it. You have to clean the surface first before you can sanitize it. So imagine this. So you're going to go sanitize a surface. Bacteria are really, really, really tiny. So if you don't clean that surface first and you spray your sanitizer on, the dust and the grime and stuff like that that's on that surface actually protects the bacteria, the solution from actually penetrating down to get to the bacteria. So what you're doing, you're not really doing anything. You're just, yeah. So what you want to do is clean that surface first, and then you sanitize the surface after.